What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the 740 Sports Show, episode 24, the Kobe edition, bub.
Yeah.
Of the 740 Sports Show. And Kobe ties into this a little bit. We're going to talk about this. Bub, welcome to episode 24. It's wonderful to have you.
Yeah, in the words of Andrew Brown, I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for having me. What did he say?
I'm just happy to be here.
Okay, yeah, that.
I'm just
Let's
happy
go with
to be
that
here.
this week.
Bub is just happy to be here. I am thrilled to be here. We've got an awesome episode 24. This is going to be great. This is going to be great. We've had an incredible day. We've had an awesome week here on the 740 Sports Show. And Bub, we're just going to go ahead and give the people the rundown in this week's lineup. And Bub, this week's lineup is brought to you by our good buddy Hayden over at Village Haircutters. Did you know that?
Yes.
Good. I knew you knew that, bub. Hayden's got you covered on all of your cuts, your trims, your edge-ups, and, of course, this lineup. Bub, why don't you go ahead and give the people what they need to know in this week's episode, in episode 24.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about the AFC wildcard race, the kind of with the Browns, Colts, and Bengals
Teeing
all
up.
sitting there.
Teeing up.
It's very tight. You got a lot of teams sitting there at 8-6.
Yep.
And then we're going to jump into the Eagles, who have kind of slowed down at the end of the season.
Yeah, Eagles not soaring anymore, falling, bub.
Yeah, no, kind of about to lose their one seed, or if not already.
Dropped 3 straight, yeah. The Niners have clinched already, so we're going to talk about that, too.
And then we're going to talk about some of the greatest athletes in our area, kind of the ones, the past and the present, if you will.
Past, present, and just all over, and that's going to be a great time, too.
Yeah, and then just, some more other 740 fun stuffs that we have
along the way. Along the way. Well, let's just go ahead and dive right into it then, bub. I want to talk football. NFL. The regular season's winding down. We're getting closer to playoff time. The AFC wildcard race is flat out heating up. And bub, right now, we got 4 teams who have clinched playoff spots. We got the Ravens, the 49ers in the NFC, the Cowboys in the NFC, and the Eagles in the NFC. They've all got playoff spots. Bub, we're going to talk about some of our next most likely to clinch along the way. Who are we thinking along the way here, bub? Who are we liking in the AFC? Let's talk about it.
In the AFC, I think the Browns are on a good pace to kind of secure a wild card spot.
And this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like, with what you can't
fourth quarterback.
You can't look at the Browns. You can't look at anyone who's had the season that they've had on paper, losing the heart and soul of the offense in Nick Chubb first thing in the season, right? 23% of the Cleveland Browns offense, bub, lost to a season-ending injury.
Dude, their linemen are week 1 starters. Like, they've
incredible.
Just had a lot of injuries, but they're sitting there at 9-5. That defense is still like the defense hasn't lost anybody really. That's the one thing that I've kind of been talking about is like that defense has been that defense all year.
Sure.
They finally got Denzel Ward back, and hopefully he kind of comes off a snap count at some point.
Yeah.
Because once he comes back, they're going to be that defense is already scary. So.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then after that, like the Texans, like they're in trouble. Like with Nico Collins out, Stroud's still out.
Right, and Stroud's going to be out this week going into Cleveland. It's looking like too.
I like the Bengals having the head-to-head against the Colts.
Yeah,
I think that's a big head-to-head.
So let's talk about the Bengals for a second. I think that it's more and more looking like, dude, the Bengals. After we sat here after the Burrow injury, out
Jamar
for season.
is out this week though.
Sure, but let me tell you who's stepped up, and that's a man by the name of T. Higgins. Yep. The guy has been balling, and I think over the next 2 weeks, especially if Jamar's unhealthy and not able to go, you're going to see an extension of T. Higgins' game.
Yeah, I think Chase Brown has been very good.
Yeah, he's been incredible.
He's been explosive as the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think Tyler Boyd kind of needs to turn it up once
he will.
Jamar is out and everything.
Yeah, I think so too. He had a huge catch late in the game the other night.
Yeah.
And, kind of solidified that win in OT once, McPherson got his leg on the ball.
And then Charlie Jones, they kind of got him a couple looks last week. So,
yeah.
I mean, you got a couple young guys that can step up and make plays, but
yeah,
overall, your veterans are still going to have to make the plays at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think so too. And I like what we're seeing. Just the maturity and the poise of Jake Browning has really been the story of the Bengals so far. Yeah. So I'm feeling good about their playoff shots here, bub. I really am. I think that they find a way to maybe sneak in. And
I'd say the Bills is your last team, though.
I think so. I think that the Bills are the next biggest threat. If Stroud's not healthy, I don't think Houston gets in.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the Texans do play Cleveland, and I think Cleveland do take them this week, kind of dropping them out. And
sure.
So.
Yeah. I like the Bills, especially. They were pretty convincing with a huge win over Dallas and Buffalo this past weekend. Beat the Cowboys by 3 scores convincingly.
Josh Allen only had to throw the ball like 15 times.
Yeah, and you know what I mean. Got it done on the ground in the in the run game with Cook, and you start to wonder. Okay, they can run the ball a little bit. They're shutting down elite offenses. Josh Allen's looking a little bit better each week. He's not turning the ball over. Do they have a shot in the AFC? You know what I mean? Where do they stand in a wide-open AFC right now? If they get in. These are the type of teams we see make splashes in the playoffs, though. These types of teams.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? The team that's sitting 9th right now on the bubble that gets in at 7 or 6 and does work.
Yeah.
Is Buffalo, you think that's a team that's capable of that type of work?
Yeah. I believe they have the Dolphins one more time this year, so that is a scary game for them as well.
Yeah, sure. Steelers at 10 don't do anything for me. They just don't.
I mean, they're starting Rudolph this week.
Wow, just in time for Christmas.
Against the Bengals. So.
Yeah, wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, don't like anything about what I'm seeing from the Steelers right now. I just don't. Speaking of the Steelers, speaking of the Bengals, interesting comparisons I want to talk about here, man. Very quiet. Very quiet. Trey Hendrickson. I like Trey Hendrickson. You know why I like Trey Hendrickson?
What do you like Trey Hendrickson?
He doesn't wear gloves.
Yeah, I know. He looks so awkward.
He's just a man's man, rocking bare hands out there, throwing human beings off of him so he can get to the quarterback. Right now he's got 15 sacks. He's one off of who most people believe to be the best defensive player on the planet, TJ Watt. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I love what I'm seeing from Trey Hendrickson. Very quiet, 3rd sack leader in the league right now, bub.
He's getting it done. Right?
Sitting at 15 sacks, just a sack off. So that Bengals pass rush is going to get a little trickier now, right?
Khalil Mack's leading the league right now, right?
Sorry?
Is Khalil Mack leading the league right now?
If this were 2016, probably.
Who am I thinking of?
TJ Watt.
I swear there was somebody else.
And then you've got... I think it's... I know on that list you've got Josh Allen. I know on that list you've got Max Crosby. Okay, yeah.
No, you go ahead.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Khalil Mack's at 15 along with Trey Hendrickson. That's what it is.
We're back. And Khalil Mack is at 15. There we are.
Yeah, so I mean, I wasn't too far off.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. That's crazy to me, though. I mean, think about that, right? I mean, Khalil Mack, a Buffalo boy, bub. You know what I mean? He was a Mack guy. So Khalil Mack still getting it done at his age, and or his age, just deep into his career, I say, and one of the first. Well, I think as far as I know, the only first team All-Pro at 2 positions, if I'm not mistaken, D end and linebacker. So really cool stat there. But yeah, so he's in the mix. He's in the mix too. So it's just it's so much fun to watch pass rush in the NFL.
Yeah,
it's so fun to watch those matchups, especially when you're seeing it against good offensive lines as well.
Well, I think just defensive ends are so far ahead of good offensive tackles right now. Like
I think it's pretty damning, right? And I think you saw that in Buffalo this past week, man. I mean, Dak couldn't. I know it was raining, and I know it was windy, but Dak couldn't get anything going.
Yeah.
And that offensive line struggled.
Yeah.
Against just basic, tackle and stunts, man. I mean, just simple stuff. They were just mixed up, confused by some of those Buffalo looks. So I think Buffalo finds a way in, man. I really do. Let's flip it over to the NFC side of things. A wide open NFC here, bub. You got the Niners, you got the Cowboys, you got the Eagles, who have all clinched already. Who are we thinking, man? I mean, who are we thinking gets in after that? We got another division that's looking for a winner here down in the South.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm talking the NFC South, I'll probably go with the Saints.
Okay.
And then...
You don't think the Buccaneers get it done? Baker Mayfield playing some of the best football of his career.
They are going against Jacksonville this week. I think that is a tough matchup for them.
Yeah. Jacksonville's fighting too, right?
They are fighting as well, so I think that is kind of a game they've got to show up in.
Yeah.
And they're always a team that will probably sneak into the playoffs.
Sure.
So...
Yeah.
I think this is one of those games that they kind of win and kind of make their mark as a playoff team. So I'm going to go with the Saints coming out of the South. The North, I mean, obviously the Lions are already. Where are the Lions sitting at?
They are Currently, where are the Lions, bud?
They've got to be sitting as the 3. I think they got cut off.
Yeah,
here.
They got cut off there.
But yeah, I mean, the Lions I'm definitely taking.
Sorry. Okay, the Lions are in there.
And then
3.
Yeah, so that finishes out those those 4 divisions. So
okay.
Wild card, I like the Seahawks. The Rams could sneak in.
Yeah.
I don't see why they couldn't.
Right.
Who they got this week? Indianapolis or no?
So you don't think the Buccaneers currently sitting at 4 even touch the playoffs then?
I think they could sneak in as like that 7th seed.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be tough.
I think so too.
Because then you're saying I
don't see the West getting a 3rd team in.
Really?
I just don't. I think that the Rams or Seahawks 1 sneak in, and I think the Buccaneers find their way into this. I mean, they might. I don't know. I don't know what the Vikings' health looks like at quarterback. Also, if they're going to continue to see struggles there, I mean, maybe because you got Stafford and Geno that can find their way into. Maybe the Buccaneers, squeak in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the NFC is going to be the interesting one, man. It's a great time of year for football.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the interesting as far as outcome wise, but I think the teams are a lot less interesting.
Yeah,
sure. As far as quarterback play, especially because Falcons, Saints, Seahawks. I mean, Seahawks got a backup playing right now.
Yeah. Desmond Ridder has officially been benched for the remainder of the year, by the way.
I mean, surprise.
Yeah, shock there.
They'll probably start him next week after, though.
NFL's heating up. It's becoming a lot of fun here, but we are going to keep it moving forward here. We have put out a really hot topic for, I don't want to say debate, because there's been no debate. It's been a lot of discussion in the social media world, Bub, with, we wanted to know who people thought was their best or the greatest athlete to come out of the 740. Question that you and I talk about all the time, just amongst our friend group. And we thought it'd be fun to see what the fans had to say. And we thought it might be fun to give our list of some of our favorite 740 athletes along the way here.
Yeah, get a bit of a broader opinion.
What's that?
Get a broader opinion.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is the stuff that we enjoy anyway, right? This is the stuff that we sit and talk about that kind of inspire us to do all of this. Yeah. So yeah, man. We started with with the topic. Tables and discussions, and here we are. So, Bob, what's your list looking like, man? I know one of them.
There's it's a 2-person list. Mm-hmm. The first one is Joe Burrow, which is undoubtedly the best 740 sports athlete that I have seen come through the area
in person. Now, that's the other thing too. You got to witness these folks live. That's the fun of it.
That's who I have personally seen.
Right.
Just what he did in that game against the Sails at Logan in the playoffs was crazy.
Yeah.
That was the first time I got to see him.
Yeah.
And then second would probably have to be McKenna Kraft. I mean, she's a 2-time state champion, going on pace for 4.
Yeah. I
mean, that's kind of hard to argue for.
Yeah, that's silly.
Yeah.
What
for a top athlete.
What she's doing at such a young point in her career, it's incredible. It's truly incredible. So McKenna Kraft is being put in the Joe Burrow conversation. That's incredible, man. For women, for women's sports, she's dominating everybody. By the way, let's make no mistake about it. Doesn't matter. You don't want to wrestle McKenna Kraft, dude. No. So she's definitely one of the greatest athletes. And when it's all said and done, will be one of the greatest athletes to come out of the 740. Anyway, she's well on her way. Well on her way. I've got a little bit of a longer list. I'm with you on Joe Burrow.
You're a lot more in depth here.
I'm with you on Joe Burrow, man. Joe Burrow did one of the coolest things I've ever seen a high school kid do, man. Dude walked out of the locker room, kind of gave it a, kind of one of these, had a ball in his hand, put his heels on the back of the end zone line. And had a gentleman walking out, youngster, walking out about 40-yard line, right? So Joe Burrow comes out, gives it one of these, and when I tell you he lets this ball go, bub, into the next realm of whatever exists outside of our planet, he threw this ball. It went about 30 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
And it hit this kid in the waist. And I'm talking 50 yards fresh out of the locker room. Those are the craziest throws I've ever seen. So I knew that night, as a coach at the time when I watched that, we had our work cut out for us.
Yeah, you had to play your best game.
Joe Burrow was no joke. So he was something else. But man, and I'm going to talk about another guy outside of Jackson here for a moment. Anthony Hitchens,
Mm-hmm.
being on a basketball floor with Anthony Hitchens, something else.
Humpty
Hitchens, man.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up going to Akron. Ended up, I think, spent some time.
I believe.
I think James Madison. If I'm not mistaken, could be wrong on James Madison, but dude, that guy was so quick with the ball in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember Evan Stacy guarding this guy. And, we were not good Jackson basketball.
Yeah.
This is prior to Max Morrow Jackson basketball, bub. Evan Stacy just drained. And Evan Stacy could run. Like, he could go. Defend anybody, go all night.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, as a sophomore, you get tagged in for garbage duty, and it was not good. It was not good. I pride myself on defense. Yeah, it was the year 2008 they won state. And Anthony Hitchens, Ray Chambers, Caleb Knight, Seth Dawes. I mean, what a lineup. He was something else to be on the floor with. Man, he just had an energy. It was crazy. Jackson-wise, but keeping it basketball, Beth Howe. Mm-hmm. Beth Howe was something else in the early 2000s here, man. I remember watching her at the old gym. You remember the old gym, Bub? You had the Iron Men and the Iron Lady on the wall.
Really cool like the old school ones.
Yeah, those were
block
cool
ones.
Yeah, those were cool. Well, I'm talking like the fiercer, like Iron Man ones, like
Yeah, but weren't they like they were painted on the wall? But they were like, I thought they were.
They were more like robotic type of things. They were. I don't know. Someone, if you got an older picture of the gym, help us out. Help us out here. Yeah. But she could flat out ball. She could ball. She ended up at Ohio State. She ended up having a pretty good career. I think she's still maybe doing some work up there, is what I was told.
Okay.
I don't know, but I think she's still with the team in to some degree. So she was wonderful. And then, Bub, one of the fan favorites, who I want to add, Jared Humphreys.
Yeah.
Jared Humphreys was probably that guy for me. As a kid, as a younger guy, junior high, watching Jared Humphreys at the old field and the new field, and just nothing the guy couldn't do with a football, baseball, basketball, soccer. Yeah. Give the guy a soccer ball, he looks like Pele. Like it's crazy what he does.
Yeah, he's a good golfer too.
Unbelievable. Yeah, great golfer. I mean, yeah, give Jared Humphreys a task.
He's just an athlete.
Yeah, just an athlete, dude. North-South game MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver after playing quarterback his entire career. I mean, what went on to play Kent State baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just a rifle of an arm as an outfielder there. What a dude. Alumni basketball, I loved competing against Jared because, he was the guy to compete against. Like, you want to compete against Hump if you want to push yourself. So I loved that when we had those opportunities. Just a great one. Just a great one. And then finally, Bub, you love him. You hate him. Mm-hmm. You only hated him once, but we love him every other time. Austin Osborne, man. Austin Osborne with the football. Just did something.
Yeah, he's the most electric player with the ball in his hands.
Yeah. And defensively, too, man. He would hit you in the mouth.
He was still the best defensive back as far as one-on-one coverage that I've seen come out of this area.
Yeah. He was just determined, dude. He was hell-bent.
Yeah,
he weren't going to beat him. He was competitive.
He had good steps.
Yeah.
He had great handwork.
He wanted to be better than you.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Like, just everything.
Great tackling ability. Like, he was just good at play recognition.
Yeah.
You don't see that kind of talent at the defensive back position as often down here.
Yeah.
So you do appreciate it more once you do see good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the best plays that you can have in Jackson football history is Austin Osborne in 5 yards of space.
Yeah.
Realistically, one of the best play calls in the history of Jackson football. Austin Osborne, and give the man 5 yards of space. Something good's going to happen out of that. So those were some of ours, Bub. We loved this. Like, we could sit here and do this all day long. There's so many great athletes, male athletes, female athletes. I mean, the world's really your oyster when you start looking at these things, Bub. And I really started to notice it when we started seeing some of these fan favorites pouring in, Bub. We had a lot of Jared Humphreys. Mm-hmm. A lot of Jared Humphreys.
Yeah.
He was a generational talent in Jackson.
Yeah.
Like,
well-deserved, yeah.
Make no mistake about it. Like, he was. Another one I want to touch on Gay Academy for a minute. Just a little honorable mention here. I heard some Donnie Johnson.
I figured that would come up.
Yeah, some Donnie Johnson. Ran into him at a cookout a couple years ago. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, that did happen. It was like 2017. I bumped into him at a cookout. Oh, okay. Great guy, humble as it can be.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he was cool. Yep. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I don't know what. I was going to say, to be honest with you.
All right, fair enough. Well, that one's gone. Let's keep it. Let's keep it moving. We're going to keep it football realm here, but we're going to move it up the road a little bit here. Wellston got a lot of Brad Young.
Yeah.
On this one, which I could definitely imagine, the late Brad Young, who of course passed away tragically over the summer here. Just another generational guy, man.
Yeah.
Wellston,
real talent.
Wellston, football legend, always will be. His story is going to live on for a long time, man.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's really anybody that you could say is much better than him from Wellston.
Yeah, I mean, you got Lance Phillips in that, but you know what I mean. Those other guys that like.
Yeah, he was so unreal.
But dude, Brad Young with a football in his hand. A lot of people in Wellston would probably say the same thing. What's your play? Give me Brad Young on a toss.
Yeah.
Give me Brad Young. Let me see what's going to happen. So he was one of those two, man. And then I like hoops, bub.
Yeah, basketball.
I got some basketball coming at you here. I heard some Dante Jackson, Greenfield, McLean. Tigers, legend, bub.
He went to Xavier?
Went to Xavier, spent some time there. I think he's still in the coaching biz, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's still involved in college basketball. He might be at Xavier, if I'm not mistaken, because I know he loved his time there.
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's still there. But don't hold me to that as some sort of coach to some degree.
Yeah.
So I think he's involved in recruiting. I need to look that up. We'll get to that. But, yeah. Dante Jackson, great athlete. A lot of people, hyping over Dante Jackson, especially Chillicothe area, of course, being such a basketball kind of area. So that one was fun, and then probably the coolest one of the whole team, the whole shebang here, bub.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it basketball, and this was awesome. Katie Smith got brought up to us by someone I hold in high regard. Head coach at the University of Rio Grande women's volleyball, Belina Donaldson. She brought up the name Katie Smith, and when I tell you she listed arguably the greatest resume that I have ever seen for any athlete, let alone someone right here in our backyard.
Yeah.
Logan High School legend.
It was a pretty good resume.
Oh my goodness. We're going to post this resume. Coach Donaldson, thank you for taking the time, by the way.
Yeah.
To list, that was incredible. What a list. That was insane. So she takes the time to do that, right? Post this. I'm kind of at work, right? Working, but also reading this laundry list of incredible accolades. And I see later on in the afternoon, Coach Donaldson texts back. She says, "Hey, FYI, just wanted you to know, Katie Smith sent me a message saying, thanks for advocating for the women." Bub, this saw Katie Smith, the basketball legend, at the high school level, the college level. Jersey's retired at Ohio State. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, well, yeah, but no. So, her jersey's retired at Ohio State.
Yeah.
First Buckeye women's basketball player ever to be retired.
Okay, yes, I did.
Yeah.
Did I remember that? No.
Didn't remember, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Now you will, forever.
I was just stuck on the 4-time All-WNBA, and then after that, whenever I saw that she was a freaking NBA Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
that's kind of just been my mind was blown after that point.
Yeah, she's a big deal.
Well, yeah, this is my mind when I learn something new.
Yeah.
It takes a while to dissect it all,
yeah.
especially
Bub's
whenever it's that many
processing.
accolades, that freaking list.
It was crazy. It just kept going, and you really were looking at me while I was reading them too, and you're like, okay, that's got to be the end.
Yeah,
okay,
it was
okay, 3 gold medals, then what? Okay, wait, WNBA.
Yeah,
what?
The freaking gold medals too. There was so much cool. There was so much cool stuff involved in it. I'm just
yeah.
It's like a buffet. You don't know where to start.
Oh, Cardo's situation.
Which I could go for.
Oh, I could go for some Cardo's. We'll have to make that happen. But yeah, man, it's such a cool resume, and
no, that was a really cool story.
If she really did, if she really did, I know Coach Donaldson, right? I know she really saw that, but that's the coolest thing. So,
she just
that didn't happen. Stop. But
that would be hilarious, though. It'd be like punked. She's I'm so good.
Okay, well here's what we're gonna find out, because this is me extending an invite to Coach Donaldson and the great Katie Smith right here to the 740 Sports Show. I don't care if we got to take it on the road and shoot it in the Katie Smith Gymnasium. We will do it. I would love to make that happen. this is my invite. Please, Katie Smith, if you're out there and willing to join whatever this is, please take the time to join us. What a great resume. What an incredible story for the 740 Sports Show. And I do have a soft spot in my heart for women's athletics, man. 4 years at Rio Grande. 4 years of volleyball. Loved the girls. Loved my time there. Loved those experiences. So, yeah, what a great kind of first female athlete that would be to get on the 740 Sports Show.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that'd be incredible. Crazy.
That'd be incredible. Thank you, and this conversation is always going to continue. So the post is still up at the 740 Sports Show. If you want to add, your comment, throw your 2 cents in. We love reading them. We love talking about them. I played in Katie Smith Gymnasium, bub.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know. I had no idea her resume was that extensive. That's incredible to know. So let us know. What's up?
It's a big banner.
That is a big banner, bub. Thanks for...
We're a lot of banners.
Cool. If there's somebody that we left off the list that you're thinking of, just let us know. We'll talk about it. We'll bring it up. We'll reply to you if we got the time. Bub. Bub's a busy man. He's got a working schedule. But hey, he'll get back with you when the time's right. Bub, we got to wrap it up here. Before we go, I ask you every single week. And you're looking...
I got a good one.
Oh.
Okay,
do we have
2 things?
Hang on. Let me set myself up.
I'm just so excited for
this
one.
Do we have anything else?
Hang on, let me wipe the tears into my head because of the freaking... I was just thinking if Melina was going to fake another message to you.
Stop. That didn't happen. I gotta... Hey, these skis are cold tonight, too.
But my first thing is, I like the pun, wrapping up. Merry Christmas. I like that, wrapping presents. Okay. Second, the volcano did erupt.
Plan that.
The volcano did erupt. So, it looks awesome, too. It's just like a line of, eruptions. It's so cool. But... that's it. The goat still stands.
Plot twist. The lava or the volcano erupted onto the goat. Burned the
that
goat.
Would be... I mean, I don't know how far Iceland is from Sweden, but probably a good distance.
Further to the volcanoes.
Yeah. Especially that one. That one was maybe 100 feet.
Perfect. Is it just goats and volcanoes?
Goats and volcanoes, tonight? Yep, and wrapping up.
All right, and wrapping up. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the 740 Sports Show. Wasn't quite as Christmassy as we planned, bub.
Oh no, but I mean,
but hey,
you live and you learn.
You live, you learn, and that's okay. Do you have any of your favorite Christmas memories you'd like to throw in there? I always had a tradition I did every year at Christmas time. Do you remember this one?
No.
My Lakers shirt.
Oh, I remember.
Because they always played on Christmas Day, man. Kobe was always on Christmas Day, so I had my Lakers shirt. I wore it back every night on Christmas until I outgrew it.
I remember 13. A Lifetime movie that Mom watched, and it was probably the scariest damn movie I've ever seen. That was probably one of my most memorable
That's
memories
a Christmas
of Christmas.
Memory for you?
I mean, it's a memory that was around Christmas time. I mean, it's not it's not a good one.
I agree. Of all of oh my gosh, Mom's going to be so disappointed.
No, that's
I'm just moving up. I'm moving back up into this ladder, man. We just need to have Mom power rank the kids every week.
Second one was probably the Barbie you got.
Yeah, we ain't got to talk about all of that. That's going to do it for us here on this episode of the 740 Sports Show. If you like this episode, hit like. If you want to like more episodes, hit subscribe. And as always, we thank you once again for watching this episode of the 740 Sports Show.
Bye!